Hey, welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. February 11, 2013, began quietly in Lahad Datu, Sabah, but beneath the calm, a crisis was brewing. In the mangrove swamps of Tanduo village, around 200 armed men landed, followers of the self-proclaimed Sultan of Sulu, Jamalul Kiram III. Their mission to reclaim Sabah, a land they believed was theirs by ancestral right. Arriving by boat under cover of darkness, they evaded Malaysian patrols and set up camp, led by Agbi Muddin Kiram. The group claimed peaceful intentions, citing a 19th-century agreement as the basis for their claim. The Malaysian government, caught off guard, quickly surrounded the village with police and military. Negotiations began, but both sides refused to back down. Malaysia demanded surrender. The Sulu group refused to leave. Fear gripped Lahad Datu. Schools closed, businesses shuttered, and helicopters filled the sky. The standoff escalated from a diplomatic standoff to a real threat. On March 1st, the fragile truce shattered, gunfire erupted. Malaysian forces launched Operation Daulat airstrikes, ground assaults, and fierce firefights transformed the region into a war zone. The violence spread to nearby towns, claiming the lives of police, soldiers, and dozens of militants. The dream of a peaceful return to an ancestral homeland ended in bloodshed. The people of Sabah were left traumatized, their sense of security destroyed. The world watched as a centuries-old dispute exploded into modern conflict. The ghosts of history had returned, dragging Sabah into the headlines. The cost was high, lives lost, communities shattered, and a region forever changed. The question of Sabah's true ownership was no longer just history. It was a matter of life and death. The scars of Lahad Datu would linger long after the last shot was fired. The violence in Lahad Datu upended daily life for thousands. Families fled their homes, becoming evacuees overnight. Schools and businesses closed, and fear became the new normal. The conflict deepened suspicion and division, especially among Sabah's Filipino-descended communities. Checkpoints and ID checks became routine, straining neighborly trust. Security forces paid a heavy price. Many were local Sabahans defending their own land. Their sacrifice united Malaysians, but also underscored the real stakes of unresolved historical disputes. Even after the fighting ended, unease lingered. The government established ESCOM, a permanent security presence, changing daily life in eastern Sabah. Military patrols and checkpoints became part of the landscape. The Lahad Datu incident was over, but the fear and the question of Sabah's true ownership remained. For Sabahans, the cost was measured not just in lives but in trust and peace lost. Sabah, the land beneath the wind, is a place of stunning beauty and immense value. Towering Mount Kinabalu, ancient rainforests and vibrant coastlines define its landscape. Its coral reefs and islands like Sipadan are world famous, drawing divers and tourists from around the globe. Tourism and fishing are lifelines for local communities. Beneath the surface, Sabah's wealth runs deep. Timber, palm oil, and offshore oil and gas fuel its economy. These resources are central to the ownership dispute. Control means billions in revenue. Sabah is both a jewel of biodiversity and a pillar of Malaysia's economy. The stakes in the sovereignty debate are high. It's about who governs, who benefits, and who protects this land. The land itself is at the heart of the conflict. Ownership isn't just about history. It's about the future of Sabah's people and environment. The question of who truly owns Sabah is as much about its riches as its past. Sabah is defined by its people, a mosaic of over 30 indigenous groups and migrant communities. The Kadazan Dusun, Bajau, Murut, and Rungus each bring unique traditions, languages, and festivals. The Bajau, once sea nomads, and the Murut, famed for their crafts, add to Sabah's rich cultural tapestry. Chinese and Indonesian migrants have further shaped Sabah's cosmopolitan identity. For Sabahans, this land is more than territory, it's home and heritage. Their loyalty is to their state and way of life, not distant capitals. The sovereignty dispute often feels remote. Their main concern is peace and prosperity. Sabahans are proud of their identity and want their voices heard in any decision about their future. The debate over Sabah's ownership is not just political, it's personal. The people who live here bear the consequences of every decision. Their voices matter most in determining Sabah's fate. To understand Sabah's dispute, we must look back to the era of sultanates and colonial ambition. Northern Borneo was once under Brunei's sway, then claimed by the Sultanate of Sulu. Sulu's claim is rooted in a supposed 17th century gift from Brunei, a point hotly contested by historians. The arrival of European powers, especially Britain, changed everything. The British North Borneo Chartered Company gained control through deals with local rulers. These agreements, often made under pressure, set the stage for future conflict. The sultans, weakened and in need of resources, signed away rights they may not have fully understood. Colonial documents, written in foreign languages, became the seeds of today's dispute. The British company's rule bridged the old world of sultanates and the new era of colonial administration. The legacy of these deals is a century-long international dispute. The fate of Sabah was shaped by decisions made far from its shores. The modern Sabah dispute centers on a single 1878 agreement between the Sultan of Sulu and British agents. The deal granted rights over North Borneo for an annual payment, but the key word, pajak, is disputed. The Philippines says it means lease, proving the land was only rented, not ceded. Malaysia argues it means cession, a permanent transfer of sovereignty. Both sides point to the same document to justify their claims. Annual payments, made until 2013, are seen as rent by the Philippines, compensation by Malaysia. The ambiguity is compounded by different treaty versions and historical context. Was the Sultan fully aware of what he signed? Did the British exploit the language? The 1878 agreement is a historical trap. Its meaning still fiercely debated. This single document continues to fuel a modern international dispute. The fate of millions hangs on a word written over a century ago. After World War II, North Borneo became a British crown colony, but independence was on the horizon. The idea of Malaysia, a federation including Malaya, Singapore, Sarawak, and North Borneo, emerged. Local reactions were mixed. Some saw opportunity, others feared losing autonomy. The cobbled commission was formed to gauge public opinion. Most supported joining Malaysia, with safeguards for Sabah's rights. These protections were enshrined in a 20-point agreement. The Philippines and Indonesia objected, questioning the legitimacy of the process. A UN mission confirmed popular support for federation. On September 16, 1963, North Borneo became Sabah, a state in Malaysia. For Malaysia, this was self-determination. For the Philippines, it was a claim ignored. The stage was set for decades of diplomatic tension. Sabah's entry into Malaysia remains the cornerstone of Malaysia's legal claim. The dispute, however, never truly ended. The border between Sabah and the southern Philippines is recent, drawn by colonial powers, not by the people. For centuries, the Sulu and Celebes seas connected communities through trade and kinship. Ethnic groups like the Tausug and Bajau straddle both sides, sharing language and culture. Barter trade and migration blurred the border, making it porous and dynamic. Many Filipinos settled in Sabah, becoming part of its workforce and society. This migration, however, brought challenges. Strains on services, demographic shifts, and questions of identity. The Lahad Datu incident heightened suspicion and led to tighter border controls. Security measures disrupted traditional ties and trade. The invisible borders of kinship now clash with the hard reality of national security. Balancing human connections with sovereignty is Sabah's ongoing challenge. The region's identity is shaped by both history and modern borders. Today, the Sabah dispute remains unresolved, casting a shadow over Malaysia-Philippines relations. Malaysia insists the issue is settled. The Philippines keeps the claim alive, fueling periodic tensions. Security remains a concern. ESCOM has improved safety, but cross-border crime persists. The legal battle continues, with recent arbitration rulings adding new complications. For Sabahans, identity is clear. Decades within Malaysia have forged a distinct Sabahan-Malaysian identity. The younger generation sees their future in Malaysia, not in a distant sultanate. Their priorities are jobs, education, and preserving their unique culture. The dispute feels like a relic of the past, threatening the peace they value. Ultimately, Sabah's future should be decided by its people, not by old documents or distant capitals. Self-determination remains the guiding principle. The voices of Sabah's 4 million residents must be at the center of any solution. For them, this is about home, identity, and the right to shape their own future.